For the longest time, many companies in Japan would fight over the arcade market dominance, with outstanding competitors coming from Capcom, Konami, Sega, and Namco. When it comes to the king of racing games, the crown would be held by Sega, which had tech so advanced they were able to make 3D arcade racers with high graphical fidelity for the time. On the other end of the ring is the only company willing to fight against Sega's dominance, or rather the only capable of fighting them head-on. It's none other than Namco, who started the big boom of arcades thanks to their mascot Pac-Man and other well-known arcades such as Galaga. In 1993, Namco would release their brand new flagship racer, Ridge Racer. While the game was released first for the arcade, in 1994 the title would receive a re-release for home consoles, specifically the PlayStation 1 as a launch title. However, this didn't exactly last for a bit. The sequels Ridge Racer 2 and Rave Racer returned as an arcade exclusive until a year later when they returned once more to the PlayStation 1 platform with Ridge Racer Revolution and finally Rage Racer the next year, with each title improving in the gameplay and graphical department as the team would understand what makes the console tick, and in 1998, a new height was achieved by the team with their last title for the 5th generation. The true peak of console arcade racer, Ridge Racer Type 4. For many reasons, Ridge Racer Type 4 hits differently from its predecessor and even its sequels, with an introduction of a story mode with 4 different teams and more refined gameplay. But most importantly, the art style direction. This game goes hard on its style from both the visuals and the audio. Ridge Racer Type 4 found a great balance between the beachy and colorful aesthetic of the first 2 entries in the series and the grayish, darker vibe of Rage Racer. The UI is so inviting and aesthetically pleasing too. The game would prove to be a major success financially and critically, with sales recorded up to a total of 1 million copies sold in both Japan and the United States, receiving a ton of praise from critics and the player base for its fun and addicting gameplay loop and drifting mechanics. So after my video covering Ridge Racer 7, the last mainline entry in the series, I've received a couple of requests to check out the other games in the series. So today I decided to check out Ridge Racer Type 4 and see if it is as good as people say. While the game offers a bunch of modes to play, when it comes to its racing variety, there isn't much of it. Every race is going to be a straight race on a short course. You will always start from the back with a main goal of chasing down first place, just like every arcade racer at the time. What makes the gameplay loop fun and interesting is with the challenge of driving flawlessly with both grip and drift type cars, and the game's 8 tracks, each providing unique challenges thanks to the variety of track layouts. For the most part, you'll be spending time in 2 game modes, the story mode and extra trials. What's extra trials, you might ask? Well, that's gonna have to wait later. We gotta talk about the story first. Ridge Racer Type 4 was the first in the series to introduce a story mode, with each story divided by whichever race team you choose to join for the Real Racing Roots 1999 championship at the start of each story mode run. For the most part, it's you and the team's director interacting before and after a race. These characters are very thought out despite being short and mostly presented in a visual novel style of storytelling. The 4 teams are the American Dig Racing team, the Italians of Solvalo, Japanese Pack Race crew, and a French team. Each team directors having things and difficulties they have to face, from the simple act of proving their worth and finding where they belong, fulfilling an old promise with a pinch of guilt looming over them, the chase for perfection and the fear of losing everything for going too far, and the path to find their inner strength to stand up for themselves. More details coming from the epilogue, with each team's final victory announcement being different based on the team and story.
Hey, now a win by the Dig Racing team. Woohoo! This is a shocker, ladies and gentlemen. Who would have thought this could happen? You guys were always the first to come in last place.
And also the trophies too. Aside from different stories, each team are essentially also difficulty options, with the French team as the easiest difficulty and Dig as the hardest team. And if the stories are not enough reason to replay the story mode, we got something more substantial for a racing game: the cars. The unique thing here is that depending on your performance during a race, or to be specific, the finishing position, you'll get a different response or dialogue. The story mode Grand Prix are divided into 3 heats. Heat 1 and 2 contain 2 courses each, and the final Grand Prix unlocks the other 4 tracks in the game. The game also has retry credits, so if you finish a race below the required position, you lose 1 credit, and if you lose all of the credits, you have to restart the heats. But dialogue isn't the only thing that changed. The car you earn for the next set of races will also be determined on your performance from the previous stage, resulting in a total of hang on, let me calculate it first. So that's for the teams, the manufacturer, and race positions combinations, which means it's around 320 car variations in total. It makes 100%ing this game a living hell. And for all of that, what do we get for 100% in this game? A Pac-Man mobile. This is absolutely worth it. Not all of the cars are from the main story, however. Clearing the story mode unlocks the extra trials, and this is where the game went from crazy to outright bonkers. Extra trials is the mode I mentioned before. Essentially secret boss fights, with each boss fight differentiated by the manufacturer. So there's a boss for H Solo, Lizard, Axolotl, and Tarazi as well. The bosses themselves are super fast and require a perfect mastery of the game's handling, which takes us to the tracks the game offers. While there are only a total of 8 tracks, due to the cars having different handling types and speed, it makes the small amount of tracks be something more of a quality over quantity thing. Mastering each track with the different cars becomes something of a necessity to beat the extra trials, but even then it's not all that bad, since these tracks still look pretty good with unique environments as well. From the morning cityscape, the nighttime highways, and sunset mountains. Each track usually has 2 variations with different time or different track layouts, except for the great finale track, a simple high-speed track that is pretty easy to master. In the story mode, because this takes place at the very end with the highest car class, it results in a race where any mistake can be severely punished. But in the end, we are rewarded with a beautiful scene of the new year of 2000, with some amazing musical score to accompany us. The music itself is probably the most well-known part of this game, and you've been hearing it through this entire video. It is a fantastic soundtrack that gets you hooked instantly. From the chill menu music to the upbeat and high-intense race music, it has a little bit of everything, and honestly, I like it so much that I have used it in numerous challenge videos on my channel. I highly recommend you listen to it whenever you have the time. Overall, this game is amazing. A very fun experience without being senseless or silly. The learning curve is subtle and the general experience is very inviting, being a great game in terms of replayability. With its stylish menus, great handling, outstanding soundtrack, and the incredible vibe in general. If you've never played this game before, you can practically complete all of the content in a single day. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and have an amazing time with this game just like I did. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, a like and a subscribe helps out the channel a lot. Massive thanks goes to all my YouTube members and patrons that support the channel, and a big shout out goes to Polo and Leon. I hope you lads have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week with another upload. Take care until then.